So we're here at the museum today and we're going to talk about spiders. The spiders are a really cool little animal. Now, a lot of people don't like these animals, and when they think of spiders, they conjure up this image of these big, well, something like this guy here. This is a Goliath bird-eating spider from South America. Pretty cool. Now, this may not be your type of spider, but we're going to talk about a couple of spiders that live right here in Texas, and they are medically important. We're going to talk about the black widow, not those black widows, and we're going to talk about the brown recluse, so stay with us. Now, we've got a whole bunch of different animals here at the museum, and we have a big selection of invertebrates. We do have a brown recluse and a black widow that we keep on hand for educational purposes, just like this. So let's take a look at one of our spiders here. Okay, this first one is a black widow, or a southern widow, brown widow. All three of them live here in Texas. Let's take a look at this girl. There she is. And you can see her right here. Cool little spider. Now, these are well known. These guys have this great big abdomen, tiny little head, those long, cool legs that stick out. It's almost like, I call them the Corvette of spiders. Let's move her over here where we can take a better look at her. Now, black widows can be found all through Texas. They're mainly a southern spider, but they can be found throughout the United States now. Many of them have hitched rides in moving trailers or cars, people moving around. People are very transit nowadays, so the spiders have kind of moved around with them. But again, they're a very common spider down here in the desert Southwest. Now, they are a medically significant spider. There is no doubt about that. But they are a very inoffensive little spider. These are the comb-footed spiders. They belong to the comb-footed spider family. They've got these little spikes down at the end of their legs, and that helps them to climb on things, adhere to different things, and move across their web. Now, they do build a very haphazard web. It's not as beautiful as you see with a lot of the other spiders, but it does serve its purpose, and it helps to catch the insects in which the black widow feeds upon. Now, they're a widespread spider. You can find these guys on 5 different continents. Now, right here in Texas, you're going to find the brown widow, the southern widow, and the black widow, respectively. And you can find all three, but they look just the same. They've got that telltale big abdomen, those long, really cool, spiky legs, but they've also got that telltale hourglass shape, that redness that you'll see on the abdomen of these guys. And that'll tell you that it's a black widow. Now, the cool thing about these guys is they do build a web, and the tensile strength of that strand of silk that they put out is 12 times stronger than steel. Very, very cool. It's a modern marvel of nature engineering to put something out that strong for a little spider. The other thing really strong with these guys is their venom. As we said, they are more toxic than a rattlesnake, although a rattlesnake does deliver more volume. These guys have a very, very minuscule amount of venom that they can put into you, but it can be a medical problem if they are to bite you. It does cause severe swelling and cramping in the stomach areas, swollen eyelids, inability to breathe real well, and causes a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. It's a neurological situation that's going on because it's a neurotoxic venom, and you should seek medical attention and let the doctor figure out the best way to help you if you are bitten by a black widow. Now, one of the misconceptions about the black widow is that they get their name because the female eats the little tiny male when she's done breeding with them. That's actually not the case. Now, black widows occasionally will eat their mates. A lot of spiders will occasionally eat their mates, but it very rarely happens in wild. With the black widow and the southern widow, very rarely, if ever, happens. The brown widow occasionally may happen, but they really aren't deserving of their name because very, very seldom do they actually eat their mate. Put this guy up. Now, this is going to be the brown recluse spider. Now, these belong to the Sciuridae family, or the 6-eyed spiders. They have 6 eyes, unlike most spiders that have 8 eyes. But these guys are probably one of the most misidentified spiders you're ever going to see out there. I get calls even from states where the brown recluse doesn't even exist. But we're going to take a look at what makes a brown recluse, and again, how you can stay safe from these little guys. Let's move him into something we can see him a little bit closer as well. These guys are a little bit faster, so I'm a little bit more slow moving when I work with these guys. Now there's about 13 spiders in this recluse family, and the 3 of those guys live right here in Texas. Now Loxosceles reclusa that we're looking at here is the one that's most often associated with the nasty bites. Now they can be identified by this little fiddle shape right behind the eyes. It starts, almost looks like a fiddle or a guitar on their back. They've also got these very, very long legs. Now, when this spider is moving around, he's moving very, very, very quickly. If he's agitated or he goes into a corner, what's very typical of these animals is to fold up those legs, kind of fold those up like this. And you can see that with our spider here. That's very typical of the recluse spider. Now, occasionally these guys do find their way into your house. This spider, actually, I found one morning when I climbed into the shower and I looked down and was like, oh man, cool. That's how he came to live here at the museum. But these guys are a nomadic hunter. They're not a big web builder like we think of with our black widow or some of the other spiders. They're kind of nomadic. They wander around and hunt that way and like to catch their prey. But they wander around the house at night. Now, if we leave our clothes and our shoes and stuff like that laying on the floor, as morning comes around, these spiders will take refuge inside of those clothes or inside of the shoe. When you pull those clothes back on in the morning, you'll press that spider up against your skin, and that's how they nail you. Once you press them up against the skin like that, they feel threatened, they're able to penetrate the skin, and you could get a nasty bite. Now, only about 1 in 10 bites prove to be medically significant from these, and this is what we think of that very necrotic. It starts with a little bitty slight area, you get a red ring around it, and it starts to ulcerate, almost rot away, if you will, and it's pretty nasty. You should seek medical attention with something like that. Now, I'm telling you again to watch our other video with Dr. Sean Bush, and we'll talk about recluse bites, because it's very, very important to know that you actually have a brown recluse bite, and it's not medically diagnosed as something else. But most of these spider bites take place on the feet, on the legs, or on the trunk. And again, that's from climbing in your clothes and you put them on in the morning and kind of squish that guy up against you. Now, if you see a brown recluse in your house, do the same thing. Put a cup down, try and scurry that little guy in there, maybe get him on the end of a broom and take him outside and shake him out. You know, other than that, he's not a big threat to your livelihood. He's not a big threat to your family. He needs to be left alone. Put him outside and let him do what he does out there. But these are very cool animals. Both the brown recluse and the black widow are cool spiders that live right here in Texas. Again, they are medically significant. Now, all spiders are venomous to some extent, but these are the only ones that you're going to find here in Texas that are what we call medically significant, where their bite, their envenomation can definitely be a danger to you, and you want to seek medical attention. So that's what these guys look like. Keep an eye out. If you see these guys or any other spider, you know, let them go about their own business. They're doing what spiders do. Shoo them back outside where they belong, and let's all agree to kind of live in harmony with nature, even these guys right here. So from time to time, we're going to be bringing you back to the museum here so we can look at some of the different animals, and we can talk about how people interact with these animals, both in nature and sometimes in your home, as the case with the brown recluse and the black widow. But we're going to talk about how you can live more harmoniously with nature, learn as much as you can about that, because that's what Nature Network is all about. It is truly your science link. Now, don't forget to subscribe, because it's very, very important, so that we can bring you really cool videos in the future. And thank you for joining us today.